How's it going, you guys? So the Pegasus is 37 now, and it has a ton of changes. So I've been able to get a few runs in it, so let's dive into my first impressions and comparisons. So first, let's talk about what's changed from last year. So from the Peg 36 to the 37, it loses the flywire, and it replaces it with this new lacing system, which is a solid cage that helps keep your feet locked in. The mesh gets upgraded as well to a more durable material. The tongue's a bit different as well. It resembles that found on the Vaporfly Next Percent. Midsole has some big changes as well. It is now 100% React foam instead of Cushion foam like in the 36. And the Peg 36 used a full-length zoom unit, but it was very thin. The new Peg 37 uses one air zoom unit that is in the forefoot, and it is twice as thick as the previous version. The outsole gets retooled as well. It now has thicker lugs and more flex grooves, and it's almost more Zoomfly / Vaporfly inspired in the geometry. Alright, so now you know what's new with the Peg 37, so let's compare it to the soon-to-be extinct Peg Turbo 2. The mesh on the Peg 37 and the Peg Turbo 2 is almost identical. The Peg 37 is slightly thicker though. I prefer the lacing system on the Peg 37 as I found it to lock my foot in better than just kind of the standard lacing system that's found on the Peg Turbo 2. There's a lot of similarities in the tongues, but they're definitely different. On the Peg Turbo 2, it's symmetrical and not really that padded, but on the Peg 37, it's asymmetrical and it has a little more padding. The midsole is probably the area where these two differ the most. The Peg Turbo 2 has a ZoomX top half and core, with the React shell covering the bottom half of the shoe. This helps add some durability and structure to it. The Peg 37, like I mentioned, has full React with a large Zoom Air unit in the forefoot. I found the ride of the Peg Turbo to be a tad smoother, bouncier, and easier to pick up the pace. I can see the Peg 37 being a lot more durable over time, and the React is still a huge improvement over Cushion, but just don't expect it to feel like the Infinity React, as it's a firmer feeling than that. The outsole on the Peg Turbo has less coverage and thinner rubber. Even though there isn't a whole lot to it, this shoe has over 400 miles on it, and there's still some rubber there. The Peg 37 definitely has more grip to it and a more durable rubber. This also adds to a bit more of a firmer feeling than what you'd find on the Peg Turbo 2. So I'm not gonna lie here, my first impressions of the Nike Pegasus 37 were a little disappointing, mainly because I was expecting it to feel just like the Pegasus Turbo 2. But once I realized that the shoe doesn't have ZoomX, it's not built to be a speedy or everyday trainer, it's just a solid workhorse, then I started to appreciate it more. I found that the ride was pretty smooth in this shoe. The heel is nice and soft thanks to that React foam, and then you get a little firmer pop off the forefoot from that Zoom Air unit. So in most running shoes, I wear a size 12, and that is no different with this guy, and I'd say it fits very similar to the Peg Turbo 2. So in conclusion, the Peg 37 is a huge improvement in terms of durability and cushion over the Peg 36. So when it comes to everyday mileage and knowing a shoe can handle a ton of miles, I think that the Peg 37 is definitely a great choice. But if you're doing a long tempo run, say like 13 miles, I would definitely choose the Peg Turbo 2 over the Peg 37 just because it is lighter and faster feeling. So there you have it, you guys. That's just a quick first impressions and comparison video of the Nike Pegasus 37. I'm going to be putting a ton more miles on this guy, and I will give you a full review. Until then, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it, and as always, keep on running.